All right. Well, I was trying to have been watching some of Gary's comment videos. And I think it's sad how impossible it has become. And yeah, a lot of people that bail on talking to Gary over the years will say, well, of course. But whatever. This is definitely a new level. I mean, first of all, he's very, very reactive to words. Like every word is a trigger word. He heard philosophy of science, some commenter mentions, and he's all, oh, that's stupid. I never do philosophy of science. What a stupid subject. And it's like talks about philosophy of science all the time. No, I don't. Philosophy is a bad word. It's when you talk about how science is done. When you say science should be done this way, it should be honest. It's not honest. Here's its role in society. This is how you should be concrete. These are that's in the subject of philosophy of science. But Gary is not very interested in how words work or words he's learned from other people. The definitions that come with those words aren't important. They can be very vague. Everything's a metaphor. He said that the stars are shaking because of Brownian motion. Evidently, everything that wiggles, that's called Brownian motion. Everything that bends, that's diffraction. No, Brownian motion is not anything wiggling. It's not meant to mean it's a particular phenomena. Diffraction is a particular phenomenon. It's a wave phenomenon, as a matter of fact. You know, and he's a hypocrite as can be. He says, "Oh, they just invent these mathematical things and whatnot and virtual particles to fit their theories." Yeah, just like he invents red and blue arrows that turn at right degrees and whatnot to fit the theory. That's what you're supposed to do. The problem is his system doesn't actually fit the evidence. Their constructs do, and that raises the question. The photon itself as a particulate thing, the quantization of energy, those were also, hey, they came out of a model that then worked, and people are like, well, do they correspond to something real, or are they just mathematical mechanisms? Stagecraft behind the scenes to make what's on stage look right. And there's ways to dig into that. And, with Gary, it's fine if he does it, but it's not fine if other people do it. If other people do it with math, which means it all has to fit together a lot better, and it's a lot harder to just wave your hands and say, oh, hey, I've solved that problem Fine was bringing up with a new word. And the self-delusion, because it's too much for it to be a lie, but keep saying things like, well, they won't do the single slit experiment. The single slit experiment shows diffraction. That shows light is a wave. And the fact that electrons diffract, that shows that electrons are waves. Because diffraction is a wave phenomena. The diffraction pattern is what you would expect from a wave phenomena going through a single slit. And of course, it has been done, and you've seen it fucking done. So we have a serious amount of self delusion where you're looking right at the fire and say there is no fire. The religious conviction that Gary has is a belief in his own common sense, his own personal common sense, and by extension, human common sense. That the universe, of course, has to be common sense to him, or else you're an idiot. And frankly, Hyphalydae is showing a little bit of this particular thing, though by no means any of these problems overall that are other problems that I've been talking about, but about mocking things like, oh, virtual particles and stuff, because I don't know why. They're all structures. Yeah, there's cabling behind it. You make a system. You don't, to make a mathematical model, hey, when I throw a ball, it's in a parabola. It doesn't mean the ontological implications of whether the parabola exists in real space or as a form and all of that, those are just still issues on the table, right? The first accomplishment is finding the mathematical shape. And then you could worry about how much that's a device, why that is the case, what's really going on. Nature does not have to fit your idea of common sense, and it should try to achieve being simple, but sometimes it's our minds that are not simple enough. So looking at the earth and realize it's not stationary like it looks. You're not stationary like you look. You're spinning around at these high speeds. That's not common sense at first when you first heard it. centuries ago or whenever, but it can become common sense. Driving a car with the stick shift is not like second nature, practically intuitive at a certain point, but it becomes that way. Things can become simple once you start to understand them. If it wasn't simple to understand how the earth could be round and upside down people are on the other side of it. But now that's pretty straightforward. So it's a religious conviction to think that your human intuition is necessarily like that is what that a thing that your intuition doesn't like a thing means that thing is stupid. No, your intuition could be the alternate thing that is stupid.